Who are the top 10 wingers of 2025? That is the question we're going to be answering today. I'm Phoenix Trinidad. This is Darren Parkin, our Zero Tackle analyst. Darren, what makes a good winger?
Ability to score. 4 of the top 5 try scorers in the competition this season were wingers. Have obviously got to be able to finish, need to be smart defensively. Often when we look at why teams lose games or what they're getting attacked at from the opposition, it is weaknesses or breakdowns on the wing and those sorts of things. So it must be resilient. Teams will attack any little opportunity in that. So strong ball running to start sets off, and obviously meters per game and territory is critical.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so before we get into our top 10 countdown, just remember this video is brought to you by ZeroTackle.com. Not only is it Australia's #1 NRL news source, it also has games. So good one for the off-season. Test your footy knowledge with NRL Streaker and NRL Name Scramble at ZeroTackle.com. Also comment and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Because in the next video, we'll be talking about our top 10 centers. This is part of a series, and we have a lot of content coming out. But for now, let's look at the top 10 wingers for 2025, starting with number 10, Brian To'o from the Penrith Panthers. Darren, 16 games played, but I'm putting him in the top 10 purely just on vibes. He's just such a fun personality in the game.
He is, and similar to Edwards in that, when we mentioned him in fullback, that obviously the Penrith Panthers' early season struggles, and he's probably the victim of his own lofty standards. He missed 11 games, either through injury or origin commitments, but if you take his 3 origin appearances, 225, 229 and 169 metres gained, 5 tries in those matches as well. He was electric in a team that didn't play particularly well through that series. So if you count those, obviously it makes his season even more impressive. One of the best runners in the game. Obviously missing games is probably the reason he's at 10, but origin alone would probably push him into the top 5.
Yeah, I think next year if he can get not miss those games and get a bit more consistency, he'll be probably pushing into the top 5. But let's look at number 9. Number 9, Paul Alamotti, also from Penrith. So 19 games played this year, has turned himself into a big game player.
Yeah, it's a controversial selection because he was dropped at one stage in the season, but went back to the New South Wales Cup and obviously took his medicine and came back even better. Really exploded as a player after that. He's got that Penrith DNA in that he's a big game player. You saw his efforts in the finals. He was so significant. They're obviously perilously close to making another grand final. By the end of the season, he was just about the best winger in the competition. So yeah, he'll obviously be a major part of what they're trying to do in 2026.
Yep.
And obviously his try scoring rate's pretty high as well, 17 in 19 games.
Yeah, tackling at 88%. Just also a note, we are taking into account this is just 2025. Yep. So that puts Paul Alamotti at number 9. Number 8, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck from the Warriors. So, like in this one, first Warrior to appear on one of these lists so far in this series. But good thing about RTS is that he actually came over from the centres and now he's found his position on the wing. Yeah,
second in the comp for metres per game, 216. He's vital to their chances of building on a season that promised a little bit more, obviously with the injuries that they had. And even if you look at him, 19 games, there'd be a number of players that missed 5, 6 or more matches throughout the course of the season. He had to carry the can a little bit with some of those injuries. He's one of their most experienced players, and as you'd be well aware, the Warriors at their best looked at a top 4 side and were top 4 for much of the season. So if they're going to turn into that again in 2026, then he's going to be important.
We looked the best when RTS was running the ball, and just a great finisher. Love this pick. Number 7, Jacob Kiraz from the Canterbury Bulldogs. I can already hear a little bit of feedback coming back from this, but, number 7, I think that's about where he is this year.
Could have been higher. Obviously missed at least 6 matches over the course of the season. 11 tries and 7 assists, so 18 try involvements, if you will, across 19 games. So effectively 1 per match, 178 metres per game. There are others higher on that list, but he was in the origin frame for a while. As we say, consistent scorer, breaks tackles pretty well, good in the air, solid defensively, and the Bulldogs were setting the pace for a lot of the season, and he was a big part of that.
Yeah, equal first in the NRL for offloads is huge, and I think that's where a bit of the feedback's going to come from. But yeah, he's re-signed long term. that's great for the Bulldogs. Number 6, Josh Adokar from the Eels. So this is a great one. Found a new level to his game in 2025 after he was axed by the Bulldogs. So you'd love to see him just had a great year this year.
Only 30. I think a lot of people, and he has been around for a long, long time, but probably feel that he's a bit older than that. So still got some time to continue to build on that. And it's amazing what a change of scenery can do. Obviously, much travelled, spent some time in Melbourne, and got axed by the Bulldogs at a time when they were in the mix. So his career was very much at the crossroads, went to an Eels team that was struggling, but fits into their season perfectly. Scored frequently, broke the line, was always dangerous. Opposition teams would have had to put a lot of homework into him. And it looks like he's working harder and showing leadership in a team where, they certainly need that, and he's a guy with the experience to deliver. So all pluses from what he's been able to do.
Yeah, equal first in the NRL for meters per game as well. I think that just needs to be said. So, yeah, good one. Number 5, Ronaldo Mulatalo from the Sharks. I think he's in the top 5 just because he has the best podcast, maybe. But no, just an unbelievable player this year.
Have to be a good podcast next year, unfortunately, because he's going to miss a fair chunk of the season doing the ACL. So, that rules him out probably till at least halfway, unfortunately. Can be a bit rocks or diamonds, but the diamonds obviously appearing a little bit more often now. Played all bar one game, 156 metres per game, 99 tackle breaks, scored fairly frequently as well, and he's a big part. Cronulla probably closely followed the Penrith model a little bit, and he's one of those players that has driven that enormously.
Number 4, Dean Mariner from the Brisbane Broncos. So he's actually probably more known for his work in the centres, but such a great option on the wing for them this year.
Yeah, and look, had we have done this at round 18 or thereabouts, his name wouldn't have been anywhere near as prominent. But if you look at his runs since then, so he scored 12 tries for the season, 10 in the last 9 games, scored in every final, scored twice in the grand final. It exploded up the list on the back of that. So, if you look at his raw numbers with 141 metres per game and the 86 tackle breaks, comparing to some of the others in the competition, even the 12 tries. But when he did it and how he did it is obviously worth its weight in gold, and Brisbane will have something in the cabinet to show for it.
Number 3, Daniel Tupou from the Sydney Roosters. I think he might be the oldest player on this list, but shows no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, regular feature. You can plug him in somewhere each year when you do this. Consistent runner that hasn't slowed down. Contests really well in the air. He's a good size. One of the best wingers defensively. Doesn't make mistakes or find himself out of position too often. And will go down as one of the finest of his era in that particular role. 21 line breaks, about one a game. 168 metres per game as well. Excellent stats. Excellent year. Yep.
Number 2, Mark Nwanganitawase from the Roosters. My favourite, actually maybe not my favourite on the list, but definitely I think everybody's just like second favourite player, depending on what, unless you really hate the Roosters, which a lot of people do, but he was just unbelievable this year.
Yeah, and they've obviously had 2 players occupying very high in this list, which shows, how they exceeded expectations over the course of the season and at different ends of the experience spectrum. With those guys as well, he'd be number 1 on this list for excitement factor as a player. 89% into his tackle efficiency is excellent. Led the NRL with 24 tries through that role. There'd been some questions marks around his defensive high ball positioning, but was the best rookie in the game. He's going to head back to rugby union for the next World Cup, which is an unfortunate loss for the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 1, Xavier Coates from the Melbourne Storm. All right, so we said Marky Mark was probably the most exciting player. This guy is probably number 2 in terms of excitement factor and highlight reel, but just a number 1 all-rounder winger, I think.
And the perfect mix. Extremely damaging with his finishing ability offensively, but very strong and resolute defensively. 20 tries in 22 games, so nearly a try a game. 150 metres, broke 65 tackles, 15 line breaks. His height and his timing in the air causes all sorts of panic for opposition sides as well. So it really did help drive that Melbourne Storm bus as one of their most influential players. Yeah,
I think that's probably what sets him apart from the other wingers, is just that high ball, probably from being close to the AFL guys there. But yeah, that is our number 1 winger for 2025, Xavier Coates. All right, that is our top 10 wingers for 2025. A comment and let us know if you agree or disagree. I reckon there's definitely going to be some disagreements there. But before we sign off, a big shout out to Dan Nichols and Scott Pride who helped put these lists together. You can find their handiwork over at zerotackle.com. Thank you, Darren. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Next video, we're going to be talking about our top 10 centers for 2025, and we'll catch you on that one.